Hello everybody and welcome to Cache for Noobs. Now Cache is another very popular map right up there with the likes of Dust 2, Mirage, and Inferno. And in a similar vein to the previous videos in this series, I will be going over map callouts, camping spots, and some very basic strategies to help you, well, complete the objective on either side. So let's hop right into it. Now starting right off here, we are going to be in T-spawn, the starting point for the terrorist, and from here you can either go towards B to the left, to the right towards A, or up mid, which gives you the option of both. We're going to start out by going to the left here, going into this area here that is known as B halls. From B halls, of course, you can go towards B, or come right through here, come back through here, and there's going to be garage. Now this small little area here is known, some people call it flash window because you can throw grenades through this window here. Helps you enter the site. And some people call it playground simply because there's this wonderful little tricycle here, this little big wheel, and also the Ferris wheel there, and the slide. So it's like a little playground. It's a pretty standard spot for terrorists to kind of hide. You can try and pick off CTs from here. But if we come down through here, this is known as checker room because the floor is a checkerboard. Some people call it vent room, but for the most part it is known as checker room, and then back here is checker room box. I believe you can wall bang that door too. Now this itself is B site. Pretty nice little site here. Decent amount of cover, but again, not very many places to go, so you kind of just gotta hide. You can plant here. This is pretty much default. Sometimes it'll be planted back here. Now down right in here is called generator because a lot of times terrorists will kind of sit on top of this generator or in front of it. Just camp there. It's a pretty nice place to kind of camp because you can easily get behind cover here, get out of view of checker, and, well, good place to sit. Coming right out here is known as tree. Some people call it van. I believe there used to be a van here in the original version of the map, but most people nowadays call it tree just because there's a tree. And then coming up around here is going to be heaven. Nice little area for CTs to kind of sit and hold. You can see their legs, pick them off like that. Or you can play it passively back here. And you get a nice little view of checker from here. Now to the left here is going to be CT spawn. They usually spawn in this garage here. There's a little bit of a lisp there, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with lisps. But CTs will spawn in this garage. A lot of times people will come back here to hide and save their weapon, excuse me. Coming to the left here, this is going to be known as truck. Again, very common spot for people to sit and sort of defend the bomb site. Again, that's mid down there. Over here, planting here is called default. This is where most people plant the bomb. You can also plant it like sort of right over here. Oh. There we go. Right here, so you can have vision of it from Squeaky here. Now back here is known as quad. These are sort of like, there used to be like 4 boxes right here. Now they replaced it with these black things. I guess there still is 4 boxes, but this is quad. This is sort of just called box, A-side box. Come up here. This is known as catwalk. Jump down behind these little yellow things here. Some people call this toxic, some people call it yellow. Either is quite acceptable. This is known as forklift. And some people will sit back here. Now coming right in here, again, this is Squeaky. This whole little area here is called Squeaky. I guess that's also known as long A as well. Some people call that long A, but for the most part, people will say, oh, they're coming Squeaky. Now this is known as A main. Some people say locker area, but most people do call it A main. And as we come back down here, as you can see, pretty much empties right outside of T-spawn. Now you can actually boost up here. Let's see if I can do it. There we go. Now this is actually known as a boost spot because a lot of times terrorists will again boost up here and try and get some picks. Inside here is big garage or garage. Then come right outside of here. This is known as vent. This is known as vent roof or just mid roof. can drop back down here, and this is called sandbags. This right here is mid box. And right over here is known as connector or Z connector. And there we have it. Those are the basic callouts for cache. Now on to some very common camping spots on the map. The reason I'm starting in CT spawn here is because, again, a lot of times people will sit behind this van here to save their weapon. Or just in this area in general. They'll sometimes sit, you know, behind this corner so they can try and get some exit frags from B. Or they'll sit behind this little barrel here. Maybe give themselves a little bit of vision, try and get some exit frags there. Sometimes people will actually sit behind this to get any rotating CTs from A. Sometimes they'll sit behind this one, or on either side of the boxes. People oftentimes, especially CTs, will camp in mid here, either holding this angle in case somebody boosts on top of the vent roof there, or to pick anybody playing mid, or on boost spot. And again, people will camp behind here in sandbags, try and catch any terrorists rotating to mid to A, or into Z connector. Another very common camping spot is behind this box. They'll hold it right here, or they'll jump on top of the spool. They'll hold it here. Sometimes, very rarely, people will play up here. Because a lot of times when you're taking mid as a terrorist, you'll be looking on top of the box there, and sometimes over there, and over there. You can actually, I can't do it myself because I suck at B-hopping, but you can actually get up there. Sometimes a CT, if they're very quick and they smoke it out here, you know, you can drop a smoke there to stop the terrorists, but actually make it effective. Sometimes a CT will be on top of these little things. You gotta be careful of that. Catch any terrorists pushing out here and just kind of spray them down to the noggin. So just be weary of that as you push through mid. And coming right through here, sometimes a terrorist will be sitting here if you're pushing as a CT. Or even on top of this box here. And even on top of these spools here. Another very common camping spot is behind either one of these corners, this one, or this one. You know, as a CT, you're going to be looking there, and a terrorist can easily spray you down. And again, you can camp here. They can sort of see you a little bit, but it's a pretty common camping spot. And again, terrorists like to camp in here a lot. Sit right behind this box. Try and get a pick on any CTs. Flash in there. You know, there you go. Sometimes they camp here. Moving right back around here. A lot of times the CT will sit right here. Usually they'll be looking at the box like this because your gun does stick out a little bit, especially with an M4A1S. Your silencer just kind of sticks out. So sometimes they'll be sitting like this. And they'll be like, oh, surprise! And shoot you down. Sometimes a terrorist will sit here when watching vents, but it's kind of not a good choice because your leg is barely visible, like right through here. As you can see, you would be able to see someone's leg right there. Sometimes someone will sit here, but again, same problem as that corner right there. You'll be able to see their legs. You can actually boost into this vent as a CT. From here, just jump on someone's head. And don't do that. I don't even know where I am anymore, but you can kind of boost into here. Sometimes people will just play vents. You know, sit in here. Sit here to pick anybody playing up here as a terrorist. And once again, a lot of times people will sit behind this box, listen for anybody rotating from Z connector or from vent. As soon as that vent breaks, they just spray them down. Sometimes a CT will play here, catch anybody playing vents, which is very risky though, because you're pretty visible there, but it's a pretty common spot. And sometimes someone will play in this little pit here, get vision of heaven, of tree, checkers, and anybody pushing there. It's a pretty common spot. And the common spots here on site, B site here, behind here. I mean, there's not very many options on B site. You pretty much have to sit behind all these boxes, but sometimes people play here so they can pick anybody coming from tree or from behind any of these. And again, on generator. Sometimes people actually boost on top of these boxes and try and get somebody's head as they come up here, but it's pretty risky. You can also jump on top of any of these. There you go. Pretty risky. They can see your legs, and you can only pretty much see theirs, but you know, sometimes people do play there. And sometimes even right here. There's a lot of places on both sites that you can kind of play, but all of them, Well, not all of them, but some of them are pretty risky to play because they're pretty exposed. A lot of times a terrorist will sit behind this little stack of... I don't even know what these are. Beams, I guess? Steel beams? They'll sit behind this waiting for CTs to rotate, and then they'll pop out and, hey, surprise! Or even on top of these boxes here. They'll sit here. And, you know, they can see you as you peek out. They'll see your gun, and then they'll just spray you down. And again, well, sometimes people actually do camp right here. Or they just come fully up to heaven. Come on, get up there. I guess I can't from there, but... We'll play heaven up here. Or around here. Or anywhere on this little catwalk section. Coming right around towards A site. Again, common camping spot for CT, especially with an op. They'll be playing here. Pick anybody playing A main. Or if somebody pushes out through here, they can kind of pick you through there. Sit behind this box. Or on default, if you're kind of pinned down. And especially quad. And then again, forklift, sometimes they'll play here. You'll occasionally see somebody sitting on top of here to play this because their head's pretty much the only thing visible, so it'll be a little bit difficult to hit them. Such a small target. A lot of times they'll play on top of catwalk, especially in this corner. It's pretty difficult to see them if you're, unless you're like all the way out here. I'll just sit right back here. You can actually boost on top of this box, and I'll show you. You can come on top of these yellows. And then you can get a friend here to boost you on top of these. Very sort of cheeky spot, I guess. People don't usually look here. A lot of times, you know, they'll be looking by truck, quad, default, and forklift, but then you'll be able to see them before they can see you, and you can just spray them down. Sometimes a terrorist will be camping back here, close the door after the bomb is planted, and then they hear it being defused. So if you see somebody plant the bomb, let's see, where is it? Come on, I just saw you. There we go. You see somebody plant the bomb right here. Good bet that they're either playing A main or they're playing a squeaky. And again, people do hide by forklift, as we discussed. Sometimes a terrorist will be playing up here. You can actually boost on top of both of these. There we go. Sometimes right here, but not very often because you're pretty visible. Catch any CTs rotating from this position on top of lockers. Terrorists will sit behind here. You know, they'll stand up here. Crouch. Occasionally here. Catch any CTs rotating from A main. Didn't realize that dolly was there for a minute. Sometimes a terrorist will camp on top of... Oh. We'll camp on top of here to catch anybody rotating from squeaky. Or I'm back in one of these corners, top of this box. Or behind here. A lot of corners you gotta check on all these maps pretty much. And as we come back around to terrorist spawn, sometimes a player will be saving their weapon on top of this little pole behind this truck. Good little place you can kind of sit. Boom, boom, boom. Or from A main. Sometimes we'll camp behind these walls here. Or even in T-spawn itself. You can actually boost on yourself on top of these crates here, containers. Maybe. There we go. Don't know how to jump, I'm sorry. I'm bad. We'll sit on top of here, try to get some picks. Or again, wow, there's like an invisible wall there. But anyways, just in spawn in general. Kind of sit back here, you can pick anybody coming. Then as we come back over here, you can also very rarely see somebody sitting back here. They'll try and pick you from there, or behind this box. You know, just around corners in general. Sitting right here. There. Or here. So that about covers it for the common camping spot portion of this video. Now we will go over some basic strategies for both teams. Alright, so starting off, as a terrorist, we will head towards B site first. So a lot of times, you know, you gotta check this angle. Sometimes a CT, excuse me, will push you here, so you gotta kind of take a little bit slow. A lot of times you'll see people walking here as they take this angle. Peek this, sometimes they'll even pre-fire. A lot of times this will actually be smoked off by a CT, right in this area. So you can just kind of keep an eye out on that. And then what you probably should do is kind of creep around here. Keep your crosshairs sort of lined up with the corner of checkers here. A lot of times the CT will play in checkers right there, or right there. And then once those are clear, what you can do, just wait for the smoke to dissipate. There we go. What you can do is, sometimes you can kind of pop smoke there like that. Sort of covers up tree a little bit. Gotta play with the angles though. Kind of throw it like that. There we go, it's a little bit better. Not really, but it helps cover up from tree. If you're quick about it, you can kind of have someone smoke heaven here, but you can sort of play with it. Let's see if I can do it. There we go. Oh, didn't work very well, but you want to pretty much just smoke out both heaven and tree. You know, a lot of times the offers will play both positions. Gotta smoke them out. And once those are smoked off, when you're preparing for an entry, just kind of pop a few flashes through there. Find anybody on site. Pop them off here. Pop them off that light there. See where it explodes right there. It's gonna blind anybody playing sort of right there. And again, once those go off, you're smoked here, smoked here. And if anybody else still has smokes, you can pop one right there. Prevent anybody from coming garage. And I usually plant right here just because it has a little bit more cover. But again, this is sort of the default spot right here. And you can kind of hold the angle. If that's smoked off, you're fine, but you can kind of hold the angle here. Your head's pretty much the only thing visible. And it's a pretty good place you can kind of dance around. Just kind of pop them. A lot of times the CT will come around towards generator. So you can, it's a pretty good spot. You can just kind of pop back around here and then dome them. Their head's going to be pretty much the only thing visible. But B site is not the most easy thing to take, I guess. But you can also come through vents. You know, you break vents, clear there, clear there. You can also pop a flash like that. And it'll give you an easier time smoking tree as well. And again, you can kind of pop flashes. You just gotta kind of play with the angles of flashes, really. You can even throw one right up there like that. It'll explode right in their face, right on top of that box. The way I kind of line it up is like in the middle of that little yellow line. You give yourself a little bit of momentum, and it pops pretty much just right there. And then you gotta, of course, check your angles. A lot of times, again, a CT will play behind this stack of black things here. Just pop them. Or alternatively, if you manage to take control of mid, let me show you how to do that, actually. It'd be the smart thing to do. Let's say you're coming mid. A lot of times people will actually go like this, jump and throw. I don't like to do that personally because it kind of, a lot of times does that. Lands in a pretty bad place. I mean, it helps a little bit, but gives you the option of coming over here. But what I like to do is have my team start taking that, and then I'll come up here and kind of throw it like that. Not like that, don't do that. Make sure you actually get it over the roof. There we go. Did that land where I wanted it to land? I don't think so, but let's see. No. Well, the idea is you throw it over there, and it lands roughly here. Again, you gotta practice your smokes, unlike me, because I'm a scumbag, but kind of throw it over there. You can also pop flash over that. You know, let's try it. Throw it up there like that. Explodes. There you go. Blinds anybody playing a headshot box. So once that's smoked off, you can kind of come up here. Again, keep that cleared. Either go through vents. Smoke off A site there. Smoke that down. Once the smoke dissipates, you know, you can kind of come over here. Pop anybody opping there. Maybe even be smart to throw a pop flash over there. Make sure no one's playing truck. Make sure no one's playing behind you. Be smart to kind of check like this first. And then maybe even crouch like that, because if somebody's playing tree, you know, they can easily kill you. And then if anybody's playing heaven, you know, pop them like that. You can even throw a pop flash out there like that. Pretty good place. Pops out right here, blinds anybody on site. And then you can clear site accordingly. Even throw your flashes, I don't know, off there. Wherever you want. I mean, you just gotta kind of toy with it. The important thing is trying to get pop flashes off so it blinds them. But B site's a little bit tougher to take than A site. Pretty much just gotta use your flashes and your smokes accordingly. Gotta pre-aim at heaven and stuff, you know. Boom, he's dead. I mean, something you should probably do if you have the time you know, you're just kind of sitting around, oh, what should I do? Practice your maps. I mean, practice peeking angles. You gotta keep your crosshair where they're going to be. I mean, don't be like, oh, he's in heaven, you're dead already. I mean, just keep your crosshair kind of where heaven is, and then boom, boom, boom. And then if somebody's playing tree, keep your crosshair there. Boom, boom. Or you can even do something that's called a shoulder peek. And what I mean by that is pretty much making it so only your shoulder's visible for a brief second. So you go boop, they fire the shot, and you can kind of push in. Keep your eye on there, and it definitely helps kind of make the opper waste their shot. I mean, again, boom, he shoots, he has to kind of fall back. You can kind of push out a little bit, even get underneath him, and just kind of clear the site that way. B's, again, pretty tough to take, but let's hop on over to A here. Now, A site, again, you can go through mid or you can go through A main. Let's try the smoke again. No, I suck. You know, you can get boosted up here, try and pick that opper, or anybody playing there. Or you can come through A main, which I like to do more often than not. And again, pre-aim at this corner. Put your crosshair where it's going to be. Go like there, pre-fire there, unless you're being sneaky, but just kind of pre-fire there. The player plays there, and you know he's going to be there, kind of pre-aim there. Or you can kind of peek this corner, pre-aim, stop, shoot, and then keep doing that. And once you know that that guy is either dead or not going to peek you, what I like to do is this box right here, throw a smoke off of there. What that's going to do is going to block off vision of any oppers playing truck, which is going to be very important because once you clear quad, once you check forklift and cat, make sure nobody's boosted up here, it gives you the ability to kind of push in. And again, it blocks off both truck and yellow. Then you can kind of plant default. And then even if you have another smoke, pop it off that little electric box there. Block off that opper. And generally you'll have probably 2 or maybe sometimes 3 people coming through Squeaky. And once that smoke goes off, that's going to be blocking off truck and yellow. You'll have anybody playing Squeaky. Open Squeaky, clear that corner, and clear up here, and clear forklift. And once those are cleared, I mean, you're going to be setting up a crossfire, basically, between the people coming Squeaky. You know, they're shooting over here, and up here. You're shooting up here. Sometimes people play on top of that, but... And once those areas are clear, again, you can plant. Now, once that is done, again, if you have smokes, smoke off there. Smoke off A main. And just kind of hold. You gotta make use of your flashes and smokes. If you think somebody's going to be coming A main, and you're sure that you're not going to be blinding your teammates. I mean, if your teammates are playing, like, default or whatever, don't do this, but we can do if you hear them coming A main, throw a flash over there. It's going to pop right in their face, and you can kind of spray them down, etc. You can keep doing that no matter where you are, basically. Just go boop. It's going to pop right in their face. Pretty hard to avoid. Or even sometime, maybe like that. Just pop back behind this box. That's pretty easy to avoid. Or alternatively, again, let's just say I threw my smoke properly here in mid. What I like to do sometimes is pop vents, just so they think, oh, vent broke. Then clear sandbags and headshot box. A lot of times people will try to op you from quad, so you're going to want to kind of pre-fire there. And by now, the opper is going to be rotated towards truck. So it's pretty smart to kind of check that corner, and then you can kind of hit him through here. Just kind of peek him. And then you're going to want to clear this, of course. But again, A site's a lot easier to clear than B site. Just some very basic strategy. You can even kind of get on top of here. You can get on top of here like this, too. Practice your strafe jumps. I'm not very good at them. I'm surprised I actually made it up here. And then if you're feeling really ballsy, you can even jump on top of these lights. A lot of times people won't even look here. But those are some very, very, very basic strategies for some both A and B site takes. So try and use them. Try them out, and good luck. So now we are going to give CT side a little bit of loving for some strategies. So if you're holding A site, a very good idea is to kind of throw smoke down like that. Smoke's off A main. Sometimes people get cheeky though, and will use this cover of the smoke to jump up here. Gotta be wary of that. But again, smoke off A main. You'll generally have one more person with you holding it, and if you see, sometimes this is a little bit tough because I don't like to smoke off Squeaky, but some people do. I would prefer to have them re-smoke it here, so I smoke there, and then sometimes if we know they're probably going to be coming A, they'll smoke off Squeaky, wait a few seconds, and then they'll smoke off Squeaky. And then I'll usually either hold on truck, or I'll kind of hold in this angle, not here, but sort of hold this angle here. Gives me vision of mid in case my player mid gets smoked out. I'll hold here because a lot of times I'll go from A main to forklift, and that gives me the ability to kind of cut them off here. Sometimes I will play here as well. Get vision of Squeaky. Gives me some cover to fall behind if they come A main. I go poop poop. I can kind of deal with them like this. So you want to have one player playing basically sight. Sometimes I'll play quad as well. I'll hold it like this rather than like this, just because it gives me vision of A main while giving me that cover right there, and as well as cover of Squeaky. Once you hear Squeaky door open, again, you can use this, as long as you know you're not going to be blinding your teammate here. Sometimes I will play right here as well, if I know my teammate is watching A main like this. It's a pretty good idea, though, to have someone watching mid. Usually they'll play in Z connector here with either an op or just a rifle. Sometimes they'll even just play like this and listen. Just make sure they're not going to be coming up here, and then they'll spray them down if they come through connector. Or they'll play in this corner here. Make sure no one's boosting. But you definitely want to have someone watching mid pretty much at all times, even if you have two players on site here. You know, one kind of holding by forklift and one holding this area here. You can have someone playing quad, watching mid, and opping. I mean, if they go vents, you're going to be able to hear them, but there's some pretty basic things you can do. Again, smoke off A main. Hold your angles. I know it's very basic stuff here, but a lot of times what people don't really do properly when they're holding sites is position themselves. You know, they'll be holding it like right here. Don't do that. Don't do that. If they open Squeaky and they come A main at the same time, that's it, you're dead. You can maybe get one pick, but you hear Squeaky open, you turn, and then someone comes A main and shoots you dead. Or they come up mid and you die. So you just gotta be aware of your positioning, you know? You gotta make sure you're not exposed from more than one, maybe two angles. Gotta make sure the angles that you are exposed to are in your sort of field of view. I mean, you can play here. Gives you the option of falling back behind this wall, and then only exposing yourself to this angle, which you can actually watch. But as you see, the spots that I choose to sort of hold, I'm only ever really visible from one angle. I mean, your back is there, but hopefully you can have some confidence in your teammates. I know that's not always easy with your matchmaking-ness. I just dropped my AK on accident, but you definitely just want to make sure you're only visible to like one, maybe two angles max. Make sure those are always, always, always in your field of view. So let's hop right on over here to B site. Again, if I'm playing B site, I usually play heaven. Sometimes I'll play site itself. But what I'll usually do is I'll throw a smoke right down there. It's gonna pop, block off anybody pushing here. Again, throw it right off that box. As you can see, it blocks them from both checkers and A site. You know, they can't really do much. They can kind of hop up here. But if they're gonna be jumping up here, their accuracy is gonna be shit. I mean, look at it's going pretty much everywhere. Bullet hit right there when I was jumping. My crosshair is way over here. So again, come up on heaven. Use that box to smoke it off, and then kind of just hold it. I like to hold it from pretty far back, because if they do push, you can pretty much only see their head. And if they pretty much all go into checkers, you can kind of get the angle here. And if you need to, you can drop down and spray them down. Another place I like to hold the site, especially if I'm... Well, they took the CZ out. Well, they didn't take the CZ out, but they made it a 5.7/Tech 9 replacement. But basically, holding right here, and you can also kind of, again, notice both of these are in my field of view. I mean, I'm not just like exposed to them. I can see them. So I hold it right here. Get anybody? Flick right over here. And I have the option of falling back into sight and changing positions pretty much fully. I mean, I can fall back here, and then hold this angle and not be exposed to B halls there. But again, usually we'll have 2A, 1 mid, and 2B. So I'll usually play Heaven, and my teammate will either play where I just was there, or they'll play Generator. You know, they'll be watching checkers while I'm watching B halls. Then if they do push out, they can kind of sit here, spray them down, or fall back down here and help me out there. So again, some very basic things. Once again, just use that box. And if I do get smoked out of Heaven, a lot of times I'll do that. I'll drop right back down here to tree, then hold this angle here, because they'll be pushing onto site pretty much like that. And what I can do is I can try and pick at least 1 or 2, and then I have the option again of falling back and then rotating back to Heaven and trying to spray them down. And if I still have flashes, boom, boom, pops right in their face, or even better, pops right in their face. So you pretty much just gotta, again, make effective use of your smokes. Boom. You can even do that. That's even pretty decent. I mean, just kind of play with the angles. Hop into an empty server with some bots, but with no bots, and then just keep practicing. I mean, this is pretty effective because, again, it pops. Ah, my eyes. It pops right in their faces, so just kind of make use of your smokes and flashes. Thought maybe you could jump on top of that light. That'd be pretty badass, but that's basically the gist of it for holding both sites as a CT. So as always, good luck, have fun, and thank you for watching. And I hope it helped some of you guys out who are feeling a little uncomfortable, I guess, with cash. So once again, as always, thank you for watching, and see you next time.